But again, there's more to it. There's no sport that requires more physical work to be done and harm to one's body than college football. And these young men have been put in a position and given their all, and they're told they can't work. But you know what? They're also told you can only have so much time at practice. But the system says, hey, fellas, you better keep working out. Don't leave the campus, even though the coaches aren't there. We know the strength coach is watching, so you better be there. I mean, come on. These players are 24/7, 365, and they deserve more than just books and tuition, in their futures while in college. They just do. And this notion that we're going to see unionizing taking place, listen, all of that is a byproduct of where I believe we're headed in the future with these new television deals, because they're worth billions and billions of dollars. With all this money coming in, fellas, it can be done so that a player that's got an NIL deal making this much more money than the guy that's the second string guard, he'll still get his by revenue share. Having revenue sharing for some of that television money that's coming in, when you start talking about billions in the Big Ten, each school getting over, $100 million annually. In the SEC, it's going to be over 78 to 80 million annually. And I think when the Big 12 gets its deal, it'll be a bump, probably up, even without Oklahoma and Texas. You watch. I think they'll probably still get a bump, because sports television, live sports television, is still so valuable today. And when you have that kind of revenue, I think there's a very good chance that we can find a way in the restructuring and reorganization of college football to make sure that the players get a piece of the television pie.
Tim, do you think that as many streaming platforms as have been mentioned will be involved in college football in the future? Obviously you're on the broadcast side. Streaming is going to be a big part of anything TV related, but just how big, especially when we're talking about potential outlets during these contract negotiations for conferences. The Big Ten, in theory, could have a couple of different streaming partners if they wanted. But just how large of a factor do you think that plays into all these deals we're going to see being worked over from now into the next couple of years?
It's going to be a factor. It's basically the new cable. Okay, cable cord cutting is happening. Doesn't mean that cable still isn't valuable. It certainly is. Our friends in Bristol certainly made it that way. I mean, there's talk. There's some talk within the industry, published reports about the potential of ESPN being something that you can get for free. Not all the other ESPNs, 2, Deportes, all the others, but there's talk of that eventually happening down the road. I don't know how close we are to that happening, but you keep hearing about it and reading about it in sports business journals across the landscape. But digital is big, and it's becoming even larger. But I don't think that it will be dominating college athletics at all. In fact, the Big Ten deal, even with whether it's Amazon or Apple, and as I understand it, you're reading what I am, both are interested. But that doesn't mean that linear network television that you're accustomed to, whether it's Fox, CBS, and NBC, won't also be part of that deal. That's what could make this so big, is that you could potentially have 3 major networks carrying one property as part of its national television rights, and in addition to that, having a digital service that is pouring even more revenue into the process. And I do think that, watching very closely, the Big 12 and the Pac-12, by the way, have to be looking at this, because if that is going to be the case in the Big Ten, then that will certainly serve. There'll be 1 year of Big Ten football in their new contract before the Big 12 and Pac-12 new deals come into play. So they'll offer a blueprint, really, that Mr. Yormark can take a long look at, and Mr. Kliavkoff as well. And that is another revenue stream that we haven't seen in the past, but it is going to quickly, I think, replace cable as we march forward. That's the direction we're going in. The networks themselves the major networks themselves want more and more live sports TV because other than, I don't know, presidential debates in an election year, entertainment television is not doing nearly as well as live sports television is doing. Mm-hmm. Okay, all of the by all of the different companies that survey audience tendencies that are out there, live sports TV is the thing, and ratings continue to go up, and rights fees continue to match those ratings going up. And look, college football, for all of its trouble, right? All the things that we talk about that are wrong with the game of college football, it's still it's the second most popular sport in television in America today, second only to the NFL. Okay, that means it's drawing more eyeballs than the NBA, Major League Baseball, the National Hockey League. Okay, for all the problems it's got, it's still the second most popular and most viewed sport in America today. So, yeah, I do think that we will see the digital industry continue to grow, but it's not going to suddenly knock college football off of network TV. To the contrary, you're going to see more of it now than you ever have.
Tim, I just have a